Thanks for visiting Multiplex Gaming Eve. This is Schiff with our first video. In this video, we're going to cover ratting and salvaging. If you're new to Eve, you may not know that ratting is the act of farming NPC pirates for bounties. Here you will see my Macarial easily dispatching the NPC pirates. These pirates are known as Garistas. Every type of pirate has a different type of damage that is best for them, so you should plan your ship according to what type of damage will do the most against your pirates. For Garistas, the proper damage type is kinetic and thermal. For the Angel Cartel, the type of damage will be explosive and kinetic. For Blood Raiders, the main damage type is EM and the secondary is thermal, although most say it's about 50-50. For Serpentis, the main damage type is thermal and the secondary is kinetic. Hope you're noticing a trend here. For Sancha Pirates, the main damage type is EM and the secondary is thermal. Now that covers pretty much all the pirates in Eve. However, there's still the drones. Drones do omni damage, and you'll need to be omni tanked in order to handle them. Speaking of tank, for most pirates, the type of damage needed to kill them is also the type of damage you need to be tanked against, as that is what they will deal. This tank is accomplished through hardeners. Along with hardeners, you're going to need a way to repair your shields or armor, depending on what type of ship you're flying. This tank is accomplished through a combination of shield repairing or armor repairing, depending on your ship type, and hardeners, both armor and shield, again, depending on your ship type. In this case, you'll notice I have 3 hardeners and 1 shield repairer. I do this because I want to maintain a certain level of invulnerability against these pirates. I also don't have a prop mod, so that allows me to have 1 extra hardener. Now this may sound simple. Get a ship, make it so that it does the right type of damage to kill the pirates, and then go out and kill pirates. But the truth of the matter, it's much more difficult than that. You need to read up on the type of pirates that you're going to kill and the type of site you'll be running, because each site has different spawn triggers. If you were to trigger all of the spawn triggers at one time, you would get all the waves of pirates at once, and then they would kill you. And there's nothing profitable about losing a ship, so you need to read up and make sure that you know what you're going to get yourself into. Also, be skill savvy. Know your limits. If you have 2 million skill points, you probably shouldn't be going into nullsec and trying to farm pirates. You'd be much better off trying to do salvaging, which is part of our next segment. Now, if you've been paying attention to the things going on the screen, you'll notice that when a pirate ship blows up, it leaves behind a wreck. And that wreck contains loot, and it can also be salvaged for goodies. Salvage is what is needed in the manufacture of rigs. This makes salvaging very profitable. Pirates also drop a variety of loot. This loot can range from ammo to faction drops, so make sure that you check all of your loot. Don't leave anything behind. This is rule number 1 of salvaging. Salvaging can be accomplished with nearly any ship. The more high slots, the better, though, because you'll want to multitask. You'll want to drag in things with multiple tractor beams and then salvage multiple items with multiple salvagers. So this makes the Noctis a primo ship for salvaging. Noctises range in price from about 80 to 100 million, depending on where you're at in space. Since this is a fairly high cost for a new player, I recommend that you start out in a destroyer. Destroyers have many high slots and a fairly sizable cargo hold, although destroyer's cargo hold is limited compared to the Noctis, so you will want to upgrade. Otherwise, you'll be making many trips back and forth to the station to drop off your goods. I make hundreds of millions of ISK a day by ratting and salvaging. I started out in nullsec, and my first job was following around veteran pilots who were ratting, but didn't bother to salvage. So as a beginner, I highly recommend salvaging as a good starter profession. It only takes about 4 days to get into a Noctis. While it may take you longer to earn the money to buy one, you can still train while flying a destroyer to fly a Noctis. Another benefit as a newer player to salvaging and looting is the loot. As you go on, you'll collect lots and lots of loot, and you won't necessarily want to sell it. You can hoard it and then use it to fit up your ships, as most likely the types of Modules that they drop will be required for you to use on your ships. This can save you lots of money right off the bat, not having to buy modules at premium prices wherever you happen to be. So remember, keep your loot. If you get to the point where you can afford whatever you want, then start selling the loot. I sell my loot to my corporation, and they melt it down and make more stuff for me to buy. If you're wanting to focus your character on manufacturing, salvaging without the ratting is still a viable option. Many ratters don't even bother to collect their salvage or their loot, so you can follow them around and pick up their trash. They don't care. Usually if you ask, they're just fine with it. But I do recommend asking, as some people do both, because wrecks in space will last for about 1 hour. So people do return to their sites to collect their stuff sometimes. Salvaging can yield just as much materials as mining. It also yields a wider variety of materials than mining. Salvaging is also less tedious. Although you're doing more clicking and being more active, that makes things less tedious because you're not just sitting there watching a laser beam hit a rock over and over again. I hope you found this information helpful and hope you subscribe. For more information, you can visit us at www.multiplexgaming.com. This is Schiff with MPX, signing out.